What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sterling, joined by
What's
my
good
friend Joseph.
What's
Welcome
happening?
back to ENT Football, ladies and gentlemen.
We are back.
And by the way, check this out,
Bro, we got
the
microphones.
new setup. As you can see in the title of this video, this is our My Guys for Fantasy Football 2023.
Dude, this is the best series that we have.
Facts. So if you're unfamiliar with what a My Guy is, for whatever reason, maybe you don't know what it is. It's basically our players that we are guaranteeing
Of course.
going to be the best players. Maybe not the best players in fantasy football,
But
for their
primed for a
prize,
breakout.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Bet. So my first My Guy of the 2023 fantasy football season is, drum roll, Jahan Dotson of the Washington Commanders.
Great pick.
We're talking about a guy who is a first-round NFL draft pick a year ago. He was the number 16 overall pick out of Penn State. Now, Jahan Dotson, as of right now in fantasy football, is going at an 8th round average draft position. And in my opinion,
Sleeper.
that's a huge steal. He's going as the wide receiver 38 off the board right now, bro.
It's facts.
The wide receiver 38. And this man, by the way, in 2022, he missed a few games. But in his sample size that he did play, he was top 10 in the NFL in contested catch rate.
Sheesh.
So he was top 10 in the NFL at getting those contested catches last season. In my opinion, last season he showed some true potential. Obviously, he was selected with the first-round draft pick. And
So that says a lot.
yep, the Washington Commanders see him as a future building block of this football team. This upcoming season, the one thing that, in my opinion, is a little bit of a nervous part of Jahan Dotson.
May I take a guess?
Yes.
Quarterback play.
Yes, sir. The quarterback play. That's exactly correct, Joseph. I'm glad you brought that up.
It has to be brought up.
So Sam Howell is going to be the starting quarterback. He's a second-year quarterback. And he played one game last season. He started one game. In my opinion, he looked decent. I'm not saying he freaking blew the world on fire. But he didn't suck.
He didn't suck. That's
He
a
looked
positive.
Average. And by the way, in my opinion, the signs are showing that Sam Howell can be at the very least, a competent quarterback in the NFL. They brought in Jacoby Brissett this past offseason to see if
He could play.
exactly, because worst case scenario, Sam Howell wasn't good enough. They didn't think he was worthy of the starting role.
Throw
They
Jacoby
throw in
Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett. He's
Yep.
a nice little safe option. And we saw how he did on the Browns last season. He was
He
a
did
good
all right.
quarterback.
Yeah. At the end of the day, both of those quarterbacks, in the sample size that we've seen, because I'm not throwing out Sam Howell as a game manager, but the way it looks is right now that's exactly what he's going to be.
Probably, yeah.
He's a game manager, you know? The Commanders don't have a whole lot of offensive weapons if we're going to be realistic here, you know? Antonio Gibson, yeah, we're not riding on that train no more. We hopped off a long time ago after last season.
Yes.
You know, Brian Robinson is looking better, and we're hoping for the best for him. But, you know, when it comes to wide receiver depth on the Commanders, it's pretty slim. You know, Terry McLaurin is such a hit or miss player sometimes. It's really hard to draft him. So I feel like Jahan Dotson can really bring out, you know, something good in that offense, you know? And I'm hoping that since he is the number 2 wide receiver on that team, that Terry McLaurin can either open it up for him, or Terry McLaurin can get open more. Like we're just hoping for the best for this situation.
I think so. Last season, in the sample size of Jahan Dotson playing, which I think was around 10 or 11 games last season, there was some games where Jahan Dotson was being targeted more than Terry McLaurin. Now, that was a different quarterback. It was a different offensive system than they're going to be running this season. They brought in Eric Bieniemy, which I'm very excited about. I think that's going to be great for this team. One thing that I really like about Eric Bieniemy is that he, in my opinion, is going to be playing more towards the strengths of this team. And in my opinion, the 2 best strengths of this team are Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson on the offensive side of the ball. And I think they're going to be making it as easy as possible for Sam Howell to continue his development and his growth as a quarterback by just making it easy. Just get the ball in Jahan Dotson's hands, get the ball in Terry McLaurin's hands. And Jahan Dotson, like I said, top 10 in contested catch rate last season. He's going to be making it a lot easier for the young quarterback, Sam Howell. And I think by the end of the season, I think we can have a legit conversation if Jahan Dotson or Terry McLaurin is the number 1 receiver on this team, in my opinion. I think that's how it's going to be. trajecting towards?
So right now you said in the 8th round. So usually in the 8th round, usually it's a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 conversation at that point. Mm-hmm. But the way I look at it is Jahan Dotson he's a wide receiver 3 right now, with the potential to be a wide receiver 2 and take that next step into being a better wide receiver for fantasy.
I agree 100%. And so that's my guy, Jahan Dotson.
Let's get into this. We're talking about quarterbacks, all right? So I know this name gets brought up a lot, and it's cool because this player is looking like this is his year. All right, Jared Goff, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Jared Goff. Jared Goff had started off the season so well last year. He had really good games through the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and then he hit the Patriots game. He was on my fantasy team, yes. So I know he scored 4 fantasy points, 4 or 5 fantasy points. That hurt a little bit. He took a little bit of a dip, and then guess what happened at the end? He shot right back up. He started playing well again. And looking at it like this, the Detroit Lions are going to be a better team this year, without a doubt. Their defense is going to be better, so that means more possessions for Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. And the way it's looking is that Jared Goff really is primed to break out this year. Jameson Williams.
Yeah, Jameson Williams.
Of course.
He is going to be suspended at the beginning of the season. I believe it was for betting on football, if I'm not mistaken.
What is it, 6 games?
Yeah, I think it's 6 games. But still.
Amon-Ra St.
Brown. I'm glad you brought him up, bro, because I think, like you were saying, towards the end of the season last year, the Lions were on a roll, and a lot of that was because of Jared Goff and how well that offense was rolling. Mm-hmm. And also, they drafted a running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, in the first round, baby. 12th overall pick.
Yep.
And out is DeAndre Swift. Out is Jamal Williams. And this is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs' backfield. And I think having a solid run game. And by the way, Jared Goff is behind one of the best offenses in the league with the Lions. They have a great offensive line last season.
Yep.
And most of their starters are returning. And so, yeah, I think you're right. Jared Goff is going to be very good for fantasy football this season. He has great weapons. We know he's a smart quarterback. Jared Goff doesn't make that many stupid decisions on the football field. I think Jared Goff is very underrated for where he is perceived in the not only fantasy football world, but just football in general. And so I like that pick. Yeah. I really do. So my next guy.
Let's go.
My next guy. We are going into Carolina on the Carolina Panthers. And my guy is
another quarterback,
Miles Sanders.
Oh, running back, Miles Sanders.
I've been a very big Miles Sanders fan since day one, and it's been some rocky times, bro.
Through the good and the bad.
Some rocky times. I've been on Miles Sanders' side, exactly, through the good and the bad, bro. It's been a lot of trials and tribulations, but this season, I think, is going to be the best season of his career. Mm-hmm. Now, last season was the best season of his career. Last season, he finished as the RB13 on that Eagles team.
Nice.
And why I think he has a chance to repeat around that RB13 to maybe 15, 16, 17 range. I think he could possibly be better. Now, why do I believe that? He went from the Eagles, one of the best running teams in football, to the Carolina Panthers, which by the optics seemed like a low-key, that's a drop. But one of the things that was, by the way, I was a Miles Sanders owner last year. Mm-hmm. This man got so many touchdowns stolen by Jalen Hurts with that cheese-ass QB sneak, bro.
Yep,
they did that shit every game.
Every play.
Every single game they were doing that damn QB sneak.
If they were inside the 2 to 3 yard line, just that one little bit of space, usually it's a handoff to the running back. Here you go, running back. Go score that touchdown. Mm-hmm. But no, it was Jalen Hurts saying, hey, bro, everybody push me forward. We're scoring this touchdown. So I actually do agree with that 100%. Mm-hmm. He was getting a lot of his touchdowns perched. They were just getting stolen, just straight from him, from his face.
And not even just by Jalen Hurts. Well, by Jalen Hurts mostly because that QB sneak.
90% of the time, to be realistic.
But also, bro, freaking the other running backs, every time they would be near the goal line, they would put in freaking Kenneth Gainwell. And I'm like, bro, are you serious? But on the Carolina Panthers this year. Oh, also, let me bring this up. Right. Last season, the Philadelphia Eagles threw to the running back position only on 12% of their passes, which was the lowest in the NFL. Yep. Lowest in the NFL. So Miles Sanders is going from that situation to the Carolina Panthers, where he, by the way, out of all the free agent running backs this past season, we're talking about Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott. Miles Sanders got paid the highest contract of all those players. And the Panthers, having paid him that money, they're not just going to have him sit and pay him that money for no reason. They're going to be utilizing Miles Sanders' talent. Now, going from that situation to this situation where, by the way, last season, remember when Christian McCaffrey was traded? And all of a sudden, the Panthers' run game was just really good.
Yeah.
With, like, freaking Deonta Foreman, bro. Like, why was it that good? That was because the Panthers, according to Pro Football Focus, PFF graded top 10 offensive line last season. And all 5 starters will be returning this year.
That's great.
And they are all pretty young, so they're going to be getting better and better as that offensive line unit. With a rookie quarterback, in my opinion, they're going to be leaning on the run game more and more this season. And in my opinion, there's no question that Miles Sanders is the 100% starting running back for this team. Chuba Hubbard is behind him, but I don't think Chuba Hubbard is any real threat or thing that would make you want to turn away from Miles Sanders this season. Deonta Foreman's not on the team anymore, and this team has a legit chance to make some noise because their division is trash.
It's bad.
Their division is terrible, and so this team is going to be legit trying to win as many football games as possible.
Get to the playoffs.
Exactly. And so I think Miles Sanders is one of their best chances to do that with what they have on their offense right now.
Of course.
So Miles Sanders is my guy.
I like Miles Sanders. So, we'll stick with the topic of running backs on this one. So this player has fallen down a lot of fantasy draft boards. This player was being taken in the 2nd round last year. He still had a good season last year. If you want to look at it, it may have been a slight down year for him. But this player is now being taken in the 5th round, the 4th or the 5th round. And this player is Joe Mixon.
I almost made him my guy. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's so hard to let Joe Mixon, a guy with that much potential, fall to the 4th or 5th round. Look, name me one player behind, oh my gosh, Joe Mixon, bro.
Yeah. You're right.
Name me one player.
You're right. Because Samaje Perine
is now with Denver.
Yep. And so what I was about to say, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what I was about to say is Samaje Perine came in on a lot of 3rd downs last season in place of Joe Mixon. Samaje Perine was getting a lot of those receptions on 3rd down, and he was the primary 3rd down back, and he ate into Joe Mixon's productivity, touches, and all those possible opportunities.
Yep.
With Samaje Perine gone, they don't really have any other running back behind Joe Mixon.
And then let's not even forget to mention, like, of course, people are going to be like, oh, the Bengals are one of the highest passing teams in the league. And that is right. The Bengals pass the ball at a high rate compared to some other teams, right? But let's think about it. Let's be realistic. We can't forget that teams still have to run the ball, bro. Like, sometimes it's not working out between the 5 and the touchdown to throw the ball. So guess what you do? You hand it off. And Joe Mixon is great in between the tackles too. So if they're spreading out their defense and saying, okay, we're going to stop the pass, they have, instead of having, 5 people down low on the defensive line, they only have 3 or 4. And then 2 players in the box. And then everybody else is out covering the pass. So here we are. Joe Mixon has so much open space in the middle of the field, and he excels in between the tackles. Yeah. So I just find it very crazy how he could fall from being a 2nd round pick to a 4th or 5th rounder. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think I like it because you're drafting him at his floor. But, last season he had a 5 touchdown game. He has these games. I'm not going to say he has a 5 touchdown game again this year, but he has those games where he will hit his ceiling. Well, he'll get a multiple touchdown game. He'll get 100 yards. He'll get a few receptions. And on this Bengals team with how high powered this offense is, like, you're drafting him at his worst possible outcome at his floor.
And let's be honest here. Joe Mixon does not have a super low floor at that. Like, his ceiling is sky high.
Yeah.
But his floor is also, think about it. They're going to at least hand him the ball between 10 to 15 times a game. And if he breaks off for 100 yards and a touchdown, that's all you're asking for. And that's not even, like, his floor is maybe around, like, 70 yards on the ground, which is a lot better than what a running back like next 2 rounds, like 7th, 8th round. Like
Yeah.
let's be honest here. Like it falls off very quickly with running backs.
Yeah.
So you're getting a player with a safe floor and a very, very, very high ceiling at that too.
So my guy is at the tight end position.
Okay.
TJ Hawkinson.
Let's
Now,
go.
This man got traded around halfway through the season last year, and after his trade, once he joined the Minnesota Vikings, he averaged 9.4 targets a game. He was very involved in this offense because they were in need of a tight end. They had Irv Smith Jr. last year, which is
Injury
decent.
prone.
Yeah, but you bring in a guy like TJ Hawkinson, legit one of the top 7 maybe tight ends in the NFL, can arguably get into that top 5 range depending on
He's
who
right
you're
there,
talking
bro.
to.
He's right there.
And so he's going to be used in this offense just like he was last season. And I think this offense now without Dalvin Cook, I think they're going to be leaning more on the pass. They brought in Jordan Addison through the draft. Obviously, they have Justin Jefferson. TJ Hawkinson is a nice player to have at that tight end position. And I think they're going to continue to utilize him how they were last season. And he's a great player, just strictly talking about what he is as a football player. He's very athletic, he's big, he's strong, but he's also super quick. And he has great hands. And so I think TJ Hawkinson on this Vikings team is one of the best tight ends to have in fantasy football.
I mean, let's be real. The tight end position is also one of those positions.
Yeah.
If you're not taking a tight end after Travis Kelce or after George Kittle, it falls off kind of steep, and it falls off pretty fast at that too. You know, you have a few sleepers. Like I'll throw in a Darren Waller in there.
Yeah.
Hawkinson is there, bro.
Yeah.
TJ Hawkinson.
Hawkinson. That's exactly
Yeah,
what I just thought of.
bro.
That was hilarious.
If
bro.
you're able to get that clip, you got to throw it in there, bro.
So wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it
All
up.
right, bet. Let's wrap it up. So hopefully you guys like the new setup. Let us know down below if you enjoy the new setup. I'm sure you do because it's 10,000 times better than our old setup.
I can't wait to see the finished product on this video.
Facts. I'm very excited. We got a lot of fantasy football content coming up for you guys this year. This is our first video of the 2023 season, and the 2023 season starts in what, like 2-3 weeks?
Give or
Something
take, yeah.
around there. So we're very excited. Make sure you guys go down below. Smash the like button. Comment on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to ENT Basketball.
Boom.
Copy the link and send it to somebody else. Send it to your friends. Post it on Instagram. Send it to your mom. Have your mom send it to
Yeah.
her friend. And then have that friend send it to somebody else.
Or maybe don't send it to him because, look, if you're drafting in the same league as them, do
Yeah,
not
facts.
send it to him. Kind
Yeah.
of send it to him.
Yeah, send it to him, but then just be like, hey,
I accidentally said that.
yeah.
Don't look at that.
Don't look at it. But anyways, thank you guys so much. We're out of here.